Hey there, FaceTubers. A lot of my internet followers have been saying, Matt, do a video about the economy. For those of you who don't know, I worked as an economic supervisor for the state legislature for the past 4 years. And it's important to think about the economy not as a system, but more as an organism. You have a system of parts that work together that are all viable and separate, but each conducive to a healthy and vital economy. So the economy is essentially a bifurcated system built up of quintessential, essential, non-essential parts. You've got the organizational system of spectrum logistics, and then you've got cash flow dynamics. So all of these intricate vessels, if you will, of financial information are being channeled and through channeled essentially what the economy. So supply and demand. You've got your essential goods, your quintessential goods. So we've got what we've called prospective channeling, in which the financed means that we were discussing earlier are viably squandered in one of 6 different formations. So you've got money lending, money laundering, money lending, money loitering. You can think of the economy like an octopus, but instead of 8 tentacles, it's got 2 tentacles, which branch into 5 different smaller tentacles, or fingers, if you will. Occasional gross is what we call the national dispensity between effective means and ineffective means, and it lies in the middle of a sort of hollowed out economic center that we call the locus. And the locus is essentially wherein different economic parties, such as dividenders, such as suppliers, such as manufacturers, can essentially vacuum out the necessity funds of each of these phalanges that we were discussing earlier, and quantify and clarify and quantify. That's what we call a partial or supply-based economy, which essentially works as a sort of tube-like channeling and cross-channeling and chattering and cross-chattering of information. So picture, if you will, a 17-foot long pyramid that you've scrunched up and pulled apart and flexed out and put in needles and thrust apart, and you can look through it, and light refracted through this pyramid will split apart and fracture into a manageable. At any time, what you have to understand is that the economy is essentially trickling from one layer of menageral and trifunctional proponents, and, if you will, drop by drop, a little bit at a time, is descending upon the acquisitional resources towards the lowest rung of that financial ladder. So that's trickling down economics. When you hear that phrase, trickle down economics, that's what that's about. It's a literal trickling. What's become unmanageable in today's economy is that the dividenders in charge of reducing the supply valve for the entire system have evolved into the reductive agents of what we call social surplus, social surplus. Okay, which is where you have different consumers and costumers who are merging together in a sort of financial highway. The viable difference between an ectoplasmic and endemic financial reaction has to do with the market versus capitalist function of economic dynamics. Okay, this is good. Okay, this is a good graph. Okay, so you've got, on one hand, fuck. I don't understand why people are saying, oh, free market capitalism, fund market capitalism. They're essentially the same platforms, only with this viable aspect of lending, borrowing versus spending. So if you're going to, and this is what really pisses me off about Alan Greenspan, is he's obsessed with this notion of you've got to lend out your mergers before you invest in your bank trust. You've got to spend your system qualifiers before you reduce your seeable options, and it's ludicrous because an economic system is only as good as its remotable income. So essentially, that is the nature of the economy. If that cleared things up for you.